Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here exactly 1 year after MotoGP 20. It's time for MotoGP 21. Yes, always good fun to get back onto a couple of the bike games, and always have enjoyed the MotoGP games in the past. So today we're going to be jumping in and starting off our brand new career. Obviously starting out in your debut class, you can either jump straight in at MotoGP level, or obviously Moto2 or Moto3. I always think it's brilliant. You know, these games have had the junior categories for so long now. Normally, what I like to do, obviously, we're not the best at the MotoGP games. That is just a warning for you guys before we even dive into this. But yeah, I like to jump in at Moto3 level and obviously slowly move our way up the ranks. Sort of like a zero to hero kind of thing on these games. But obviously, if you guys are new around here and you do go on to enjoy, make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed. A massive, massive thank you for 13.9k subscribers. We're nearing in on the 14k mark as well. So obviously, if you guys could help us get one step closer to that, it would be greatly, greatly appreciated. But yeah, let's dive in then here for our all-new MotoGP career mode then. Like I said, we're going to start out in Moto3 as we always do. We're going to go... Do we go full calendar or do we go official 2021 calendar? We've got one extra race in the official one. A couple of extra tracks by the look of it, if I'm not mistaken. We got two races at Losail to start off the year with the official. We'll go with the full calendar. You know, we get a couple of extra tracks in. I think it's pretty much Termas and Austin as well. There are obviously no racing going on in the Americas this year, but we like to go back to those tracks nonetheless. So here we go then. Your first step to your career is to join a team, so the time has come to hire a personal manager. Your personal manager's job is to collect the offers from the team's interest in signing you on the look for new contracts based on your specification. Your personal manager will also negotiate your signing on and bonuses tied to your performance with the teams interested in you. So that is going to be very, very good. The staff skills are summarized with a letter that represents their rank, so CBAS. And so staff costs, obviously, again, we've got to worry about trying to make sure they're getting paid as well. And so signing on bonus, 2,500 credits, a monthly salary of 2,000, so an annual salary of 26,000 credits as well. And so salaries are paid every 4 weeks as well, so estimated total remuneration paid during the 52 weeks of the season. So we have got to be careful. We've got to balance money on this game. It's a bit like F1 2020 with the My Team stuff. And then staff resumes, experience, a summary of previous work experience, specialization, obviously what they're good at, and then of course the advantage, a unique feature that distinguishes the staff member as well. And so that is rather good to see. And you can see we've got a couple of other things there as well. Personal manager skills as well. And always a lot to jump into when you dive into these games as well. Then so we've got Eri Nakajima, we've got Will Morris, we've got Emily Jones, Mario Navarro, or Kaito Yamaguchi as well then. Now, to be honest, they're all pretty similar by the most part. I think these two at the end are a little bit more well-rounded. But we're going to roll with... Has anyone even got an extra special talent? No, none of them got any special talents. We're going to roll, I think, with William Morris, ready for the new year. They're not all experienced potential gamble, but specialised in economic negotiations for bonuses and salary rates. I'll be honest, I don't think for us it's going to make too big a difference on this game. But yeah, we're going to sign up William Morris as well there. So search contracts with factory team, establishment of new teams. So, right, we can either ask your personal manager to contact factory teams or satellite teams to find you a new contract. Try to enter increasingly prestigious teams in aim to victory. Or the MotoGP paddock is always a stir. Occasionally there'll be new sponsors interested in establishing new teams. These teams might be less prestigious, but they'll give you an opportunity to take part in exclusive activities and creating a custom livery for your bike. I'll be honest, I don't feel confident enough to go on it alone, so we're going to try and search for some teams then. So let's have a look at who are going to be the options. We've got Car Expert Bristol GP, Red Bull KTM Tech 3, BOE Owl Ride as well. They're all seeming fairly similar. I'll be honest, Red Bull KTM Tech 3 seem like probably the best team to go with. You know, they're normally pretty decent if my memory is not failing me as well. So team performance, they're all pretty even as well. Then they're hoping for top 15s. They're basically all hoping for the same things, but again, the bonuses are slightly different on them. Actually, to be honest, Red Bull KTM financially is not looking like the best team to go with. We're going to go with BOE Owl Ride as well. I can't say I've really heard of them all too much. But are you sure you want to sign a contract? Yes, we will. So we're now signed up and ready to go for the start of the new season. There is our rider. I've got him all set up as well. Then a number we want to be 21 if we can. That's not going to be possible. The closest we can go with is 28. We'll go 31 then. Can we edit the number? No, we can't. I'm not going into all that. I will just make something that looks like it's come out of an insane asylum if we try to do anything like that. So yeah, we'll rock number 31 then. Everything else looks pretty good though, if I do say so myself. So that's all good. So we will confirm that and get ready for the new season then. 20 races ahead of us. 21 races even, sorry, ahead of us over the course of the calendar. But Moto3 ready to kick things off for the first weekend of the year in Qatar, in Losail. I'm very much looking forward to this. So, BOE Motorsports then with their new driver. Use the calendar, you can advance weeks and GPs, check your scheduled appointments and see the results of past GPs. Each of your team's areas will constantly notify you of all your progress. That's all good. Obviously, you got final standings, you got contract management, staff, technical management, and the headquarters as well then. So I think we're almost ready. What on earth has happened to my guy? Who on earth has scared him on MotoGP 21? He looked fine on MotoGP 20, but he's... clearly, my lack of MotoGP ability has scared him over the last 12 months, and he is not looking like he's a fan of ourselves then. Let's advance to the next week. Haven't really got anything going on, if I'm not mistaken. The SAL is quite a few weeks away, so we'll quickly advance to the next event. Round 1 of the year then. Go to Bawa, the Grand Prix of Qatar. Yes, we shall. Always been a fan of the Qatar circuit. We're going to run 1 free practice session, 1 FP session, Q1, Q2, and of course the race as well then. So fairly sort of standard stuff for myself. And let's dive into this then.
Good evening, we're coming to you live from Qatar at the start of a long weekend's build-up to the Grand Prix at the Losail circuit. The tension is palpable. Mechanics and engineers hard at work sorting out the final technical details before the start of this official session.
So here we are then, at Losail. I probably should have mentioned as well, this has been recorded on the Xbox Series X as well, so hopefully the graphics look a bit better than last year's game. It's nice to finally have a game designed for the Series X that we can make some content on over the coming weeks and months. But yeah, in terms of the session though, I think we probably just need to get out there, make sure I double check the riding aids quickly. We're running a couple of assists, it's not quite like F1, I'm not quite as good on this one as well. Acceleration, input, modulation, yeah, we'll roll with that. We'll roll with all that. I think these bikes have generally got ABS and traction control as well in the lower categories as well. But yeah, let's head out then to the circuit, try and get a couple of laps in. I'm not too sure what AI we're running as well, in all honesty. Hopefully we can find out here. No, we can't. We might have to wait to the end of the session if we end up being massively OP. So heading out then onto our first lap of the Losail circuit here on MotoGP 21. Obviously I have raced around this track on the previous games as well, and so we've completed our top speed test as we're going to brake very, very early down in towards turn 1. Really not too sure what to expect on the bike. Again, obviously it does take me a little bit of time to get back in as we really try to open up the corners as best as possible here. Got to remember just how smooth you got to be to really try and maximise the time on these. Obviously they're not quite like a Formula 1 car, you can't just stamp on the throttle on the exits of the corners, and obviously the massive difference is of course in through the corners. You've got to brake so early, hence why I've got the racing line on, otherwise I'm going to fly off a lot over the course of today. But yeah, Losail though, obviously got a fair bit of breathing room around it, you know, a lot of runoff areas, things like that as well. And of course I like the new markers, just to try and give you an indicator. That's a bit deep though. We're exploring the limits, you know, first weekend. We should be allowed a few mistakes. Oh no, it's happened immediately. Yeah, that was bound to happen at some point. And I completely forgot about the whole new mode where you can try and run back to your bike. Come on. That sad plod as he tries to walk back and rescue it out of the gravel trap as well there. But yeah, hopefully we can try and get some decent laps in at some point. As long as I'm not falling off too much, I'm normally pretty happy. Almost hurt Sasaki even. Oh, that was a big one. It's not been good so far, I'll be honest. That was a rather lot of cartwheels that time round, and we've gone further than the bike still, which is quite impressive. Please nobody else hit the bike. There's probably going to be a fair bit of this early on this season, of just us running back and trying to rescue the bike from wherever we've ended up abandoning it this time round. But yeah, anyway, let's continue on. End of our first lap then. It's going to be a mighty 3:40 that time there. Only 1.5 minutes off the pace. But yeah, hopefully now we can just try and settle down into a rhythm. Got our first lap underway. Oh, you just feel the back brake locking up so much. You just try and keep it planted. That's always what I've struggled with on these games, is just trying to keep the back end in check. Obviously not much grip coming from the rubber. And around a track like Losail as well, obviously if you run a bit too deep into the corner, you sort of panic as it's already sort of tight hairpins, and then you start to struggle. Right around in the final corner then, this is going to be a big improvement over our first lap. We actually managed to go around without falling off once. So as we head up towards the line, what time is it going to be? Trying to get as much slipstream as we can. A 2:14, 3 seconds off the pace, but we're getting close. And around in the final corner once more though. We're still finding more and more time, but again, it is going to be a learning experience in the first few rounds of the year. Another 7/10 on the board is still going to leave us down in 25th, but less than 3 seconds off current fastest. I'm rather alarmingly pretty happy with that. We're going to go for one more lap, and then I think we're going to dive into qualifying. And right in the final corner for the final time, then it's going to be about another 4/10 found. So yeah, pretty happy. I think obviously the tyres are very much going off as well, though, so the fact we're still able to find time is quite good. 2.7 still off the pole, down in 27th, but again, it's going to be a learning curve this year. So there we go then. Apparently our team isn't particularly great either, all three of us down outside of the top 20. But yeah, I mean, we were less than a second off Riccardo Rossi, one of our teammates there at the end of the session, so I will take that rather happily indeed there. You can see, yeah, top guy though was of course Pedro Acosta, a 1:10.8 there, the only man into the 10s, with Andrea Migno in P2 and Darren Binder P3 there. Let's dive into qualifying here, or Q1 even I should say, here at Losail.
Good afternoon and welcome to Qatar. We're joining you live from the Losail circuit. The first qualifying session is about to begin, and the riders who haven't qualified yet will have to battle hard to get one of those last 4 spots available in second qualifying. The weather forecast for the session is great, but given the location of the circuit, there's always a risk that the wind will blow sand onto the track, which could create grip problems for the riders.
So there we go, then the fastest 4 end up making it through into Q2. So we need to try and get a good lap in as early as possible. And yeah, let's just wait and see what we can do. Round in the final corner then, ready to start our first flying lap of Q2 then. We've got a fresh set of the soft tyres on the bike. And as we head back down towards someone, obviously we should have a lot more grip and hopefully therefore be able to find a little bit more pace. Top guy at the moment on a 2:10.9, even I should say, as we've actually lost the racing line ready for qualifying, which isn't too bad, I'll be honest. It's quite nice just to get it for practice. And then hopefully now, obviously for the rest of the weekend, we can try and be quick and consistent as we head through the first sector. Oh, come on. Trying to get the front end turned in, running a little bit wide there. Using a bit more of the Losail facilities than we're probably meant to. But that's okay as we've come towards the end of the first sector. Whereabouts are we on pace? A little way off at the moment, but generally we do get a bit better around the rest of the lap. I think we're really struggling with rear temps on this lap so far. You can see that rear tyre is not in a particularly good state as we head up one of the next straightaways. It's just going to make things very, very difficult. Just doesn't fill me with any confidence as we head through in towards the end of Sector 3. We're still losing time at the moment. You can see we're 3 seconds back at the moment. It has not been a particularly good lap, and that is just way too wide through there. It is not, yeah, certainly been one to write home about at the moment. Oh no, we've completely misjudged that. Somehow got away with it. As we head down in towards the final couple of corners though, way down on time. Tyres are all over the place. How on earth can we cool them down at the moment through the final corner? We need like truck brakes with the water cooling on them, but at the final turn, where are we going to end up being at the end of this first lap? It's not going to be great. There goes the leader's time. We aren't going to be that far off in the end. A 2:13, 3 seconds off, puts us 4th at the moment actually. But yeah, surely that's not going to be good enough to get us through. Yeah, no, the grip's just completely gone. We've got nothing left on this set of rubber. We might be able to get one more run in. But at the moment, it's not looking great, as we'll have to plod back to the bike again. It's very quickly went from quite funny to just rather depressing, I'll be honest. Just watching him run back over with the worst possible style. But yeah, we're going to give it one more shot. We may as well use one more set of tyres. Let's see if we can try and get any more time. Well, the gaps in Q1 seem to be a bit all over the place at the moment, but we're going to go really light on the fuel and go for one more lap on a fresh set of these soft tyres here. Like I said, we've got to try and keep them in good nick, though, over the entirety of the lap, and then hopefully we can try and find just a little bit more pace and see if we can get ourselves a bit... Even if we can't get ourselves through into Q2, so long as we can get ourselves up the order a bit, that would be rather nice as we head back through the first corner. Again, running horribly wide there. Oh, and then don't want to be out there either. Come on, get the nose in. There we go. That's what I like to see. A couple of tenths up. So we head out of the first couple of turns there, completely flat through turn 3. 6 tenths up already. This is what we need to do. We just need to try and get it all hooked up there. You can see now we're less than a tenth off at the end of Sector 1. We have got some good pace there, as again we just run a bit wide. Being a bit cheeky with the track limit still, I think that's safe to say. But obviously again... Oh no, there we go. As soon as I say that, track limit's about enough. We've come off again, and I think that's going to be the end of our qualifying. Yeah, so unfortunately they're a long way off at the end of Q1 there, unfortunately. But yeah, just behind Salak, who, well, I say just behind, near enough 2 seconds behind him at the end. There was not quite the best start to the weekend that we needed, but again, a long race ahead of us there. Rusain Yamanaka, Carlos Tatai, Ivan Guevara, and Jason De Pasquale as well all get through into Q2. But yeah, unfortunately for us, we'll probably have a quick tweak of the AI, just try and get it a little bit more balanced. And let's dive in then, ready for our first race on MotoGP 21.
Greetings to all our viewers from the peninsula of Qatar. The floodlights that light up the Losail circuit are on, and any moment now the Moto3 bikes will be revving their engines. Once again, as is customary at this track, we're looking forward to great weather for the Grand Prix, with temperatures that shouldn't cause any tyre problems. We're moving now to the Moto3 class grid, where engineers and technicians are ironing out the last few details before the race starts.
Here we go then, ready for the start of our brand new MotoGP 21 career then. 10 red lights and it's lights out. And away we go for the first race of the new season. I've got to make sure we're pretty safe down in towards the first corner of the race there. So we got someone just on our outside, not allowing us to get up to the racing line. Going to be nice and easy. That was Salak. So we head down through the first corner, trying to stick close to the rest of the pack. I think everyone's made it through the first corner fairly nice and tidily as we rotate the bike through turn 2. Might try and get the up and under on a couple of people. Obviously got to be very, very careful. Pretty much any contact is going to send you both flying. There is all. We do get a little bit of touch with one of the other KTM drivers there. Good run down towards turn 4. So hopefully we can just sort of park it on the inside. There is everywhere. It's just a swarm of cars around us. There's Rossi just in front as we head out of the first sector. The AI balance does seem to be a lot better than we saw in qualifying for us, which is nice. Of course, we'll be slowly tweaking that over the course of the season as we just get a little bit better there, but still struggling with rear temperatures, you can see already on the graph. Not too sure if everyone else is as well, so we have got to be a bit careful, just to make sure we're a bit easier on the power in a couple of places. This corner is really difficult. You've got to get the bike rotated one way and then back the other. Once again, as there is someone else, I think that was Sasaki, snuck back up the inside. Oh, a little bit of contact between the pair of us, but we do get the move back on him, as that's someone else trying to look up the inside. That was Salak once again there, but we're up 3 places off the start of this race. We might be able to make that 4 there. There's a bit more contact with someone else. Oh, no, not where you want to be on the grass on the inside. That was a bit of a scary moment. So again, we're just a bit all over the shop at the moment as we try to keep up with the rest of the pack. Should we get it nice and tidy through the final few corners of the opening lap? We haven't done too badly though. Been a fairly clean start for the most part. Just again, hopefully down the front straight we can let the rear tyres cool just a bit. As in towards the final corner, Riccardo Rossi still the rider in front of us. Oh, just cut over the front of Salak through the final corner. We've got a good run actually out of that final turn as we head back down towards turn 1. Oh, just almost run into the back of one of our teammates there. In towards the first turn though. We're going to make our way all the way up inside the top 20 there, as everyone else very, very slow down the straight, but way more aggressive in towards turn 1 again. trying to apply some pressure to Koffler just in front of us, but I'm really not sure whether we're going to need to pit in this race or not. Our tyres are not looking good already. We're barely halfway around lap 2 of a 9-lap race here as we head back down in towards the final sectors of the lap. Oh, just got to really try and get the nose where I want it a little bit more. Just turning in a bit too late sometimes still. It's so weird thinking about how early you've got to try and turn in on this bike to make sure obviously the nose does actually get where you intend it to by the apex there. As you just see the back end skitting around all over the shop. And yeah, those rears aren't looking great, but again, we should get a good chance to cool them off back down the front straight. Speaking of the front straight again, we've got a lot of straight line speed over most of the other riders. So there's actually been a crash, not too sure where that's been. There we go, free track once again. I don't actually know if you can overtake once there's a crash. I don't think you're meant to. But again, look at how brave everyone else is back down towards turn 1. Have to really try and look after this rubber there. The front's actually now starting to take a little bit more wear than the rears, but able to keep the temperature in them a lot more regulated. Can we get the up and under on this guy? Yes, we can. One of our teammates. So we're up inside the top 20, then round the outside of him as well. That was rather good, as all over the back now to tie. Yeah, not quite able to go for anything there. Not too sure who this guy is just behind us, but he's really trying to apply some pressure. As oh, we just nick a wheel on the grass. That's not what we needed. Oh, look at that! Just 2 bikes right behind you. If that isn't scary, I don't know what is. On MotoGP 21, they're all diving me. Someone's gone down and we've been taken out with it. And I'll be honest with how OP the AI tend to be with that. No, we're screwed. Come on, get back on. Someone has completely ruined our afternoon. Because we've got to try and get back on the bike. It's ridiculous as well. That definitely needs looking into how much time the AI seems to be able to make up from that as well there. As I'm not too sure where the guy in last is. Whether he's out of this race or what. But the fact that you can lose 16 seconds, but everyone else seems to be able to get away with it, seems a bit unfair to me. Obviously now, I think this race is pretty much just become a testing session for us, unfortunately. As still the tyres very much going off. But, I mean, there's only 10 seconds to the guy in front. I mean, we're not last still, because someone's not running anymore or something. I'm not 100% sure what's going on with him. But yeah, I think we're going to need to pit as well by the end of this one. Don't think anyone else is going to need to. Or I'm not too sure if they are. Oh, and there we go. That kind of sums it up. I think we might have to use a couple of rewinds here because, yeah, just how ridiculous the time lost is kind of unplayable when you got things like that going on. Come around the final corner of lap 5. Not sure we got enough fuel to get to the end of this one. Oh, I've missed the pit lane entry. Oh, we're going to have to go for another lap on these tyres. This is going from bad to worse at this stage, but the gap to the guy in front is actually coming down ever so slightly at the moment, so not too sure what's happened to him either, but yeah, just a bit all over the place. Lap times are fairly consistent though. So it's still sat in the low 14s, which I guess is good. We're not losing much to the leaders. Well, there's absolutely no denying the tyres have completely gone at this stage of the day, and I'm not even sure we got enough fuel to try and get to the end either. But again, we're still finding pace though, rather weirdly, so I guess we're just slowly getting our eye in and getting a bit more confident with the game as well, which is always a good point. Always nice to see as well, you know, got to try and focus on the positives on this game as well as we head down in towards the final couple of corners of lap 6. Again, it's ended up being quite a lonely one. But yeah, we're minus 1.7 on fuel, so I'm worried, despite absolutely brimming the tank, we still haven't got enough fuel to get to the end either. So we head through the final turn. We're going to be a long way up at the end of the lap, but we're going to need fuel and tyres nonetheless. So, first time I think I've ever had to do a pit stop in a MotoGP game as well there. And yeah, I'm going to be a bit gutted if the AI can make it right the way through to the end of this race when we can't. But yeah, we might have to change the race length slightly and just change the fuel settings as well there, because it's going to be a little bit difficult to try and do a lot if everyone is this OP in comparison to myself. Can we not change tyres? Right, well, I guess we're completely screwed then. We got, what, 2 laps to go? 2 or 3 laps to go, and we can't do anything, apparently. This has gone well. That being said, though, someone else has actually dropped out of the race, so we're making places still, but I don't think we're really going to be able to get to the end in one piece. We got more and more riders coming off, so I don't know whether it's just the tyre wear that everyone's starting to be caught out by or what, but we're gaining places still. I'm at a 25th now of this race, which is pretty much as high as we ran at any point anyway. Salak now the next man in front of us, but he's a minute ahead. So unless, yeah, we get more drivers, or more riders, sorry, I should say, that can't get to the end because of tyre wear, we might still make up some spots, rather alarmingly. I have finally discovered as well the PWR button at the bottom, of course, is the power, which probably would have been good to realise at the start, because at the moment we are still way down on field as we start the final lap of this race. We're still about... Oh, yeah, we're losing a lot of time still to the leaders. I think it's starting to rubber band around a little bit ever so slightly as well there. But yeah, tough old debut in the season, and are we potentially going to run out of fuel on the final lap of this race to top it off? Well, we're not going to run out of fuel yet. We are going to fall off, however, once again. As, yeah, hopefully we can try and get back onto the bike with pretty much no fuel left in it, so that's going to waste even more fuel as well. It's been a ruffled first outing, but we've certainly learnt a lot as well. Come on, get it back off the floor, man. Get on with it. Come on, doesn't take all day. You've only fallen off a bike about 70 miles an hour there, so it'll be fine. It'll buff out, as the kids say. And there we go. As soon as we get back on, it's run out of fuel as well. And my finger is mashing the throttle. And it's completely gone. What a debut on MotoGP 21. Like I said, we've certainly learnt a lot, though. Ready for the next race of the season there. But that is us out in P25 at the end of the day. Their leaders have come through to cross the line. Surely we will get counted as a finisher there. We made 90% of the race, surely. But there we go. It is Pedro Acosta who takes home the race victory there. John McPhee in at P2 ahead of Juan Masia in at P3 there. Artigas in 4th, Foggia, Suzuki, Guevara, Alcoba, Onku and Koffler round 8 top 10 there at the end of the day. And yes, we did get P25 in the end there, so we finished ahead of Rodrigo Antonelli, Izdihar and Toba when all is said and done there. But a ruffled start to our MotoGP career mode, though. Like I said, though, we have learnt a lot. We will definitely be back very, very soon. Hopefully tomorrow, actually, with round 2 of the year. I'm probably going to change the AI. Well, I think the AI pretty much there now. I think we might tweak them ever so slightly for the second race of the championship. We're going to shorten the race distances. We're going to change the tyre and fuel settings as well, just so we've got a little bit extra in the tank. Obviously, had I remembered the power settings as well, that would have probably been useful as well. But yeah, a rough start, but I'm sure we've learned a lot, and we'll be back very, very soon with hopefully more MotoGP 21. A big thank you to our channel members for making these videos possible. You can be featured in these end clips as well as granted access to some other exclusive perks for just £1 a month by clicking the join button below.